With Vanguard DC-BT02 Illusionless Strive coming out, or it came up by the time I upload this video, I want to talk about one card that's actually pretty entertaining to play. It's not exactly top tier like Blackmire or like Sorga or popular like Liao, Equal, Amorta, but it's definitely a deck worth watching. Something tell me it might shine in the future just in case. And that deck I'm talking about is Drag Connector, Grhyaundra. Grhyaundra's skill is at the beginning of your main phase, rest this unit, choose up to one grade 2 or less with Grhya in its card name, and one grade 2 or less card with Aundra in its card name, each from your soul, and call them the rear guard. And then at the end of the battle with your Aundra and its card name attacked, put that unit that attacked and the rear guard with Grhya and its card name into soul and stand this unit. If all the and all your front row get plus 10k, which is really nice. The right line is Child Dragon Aundra, Dragresonance of Flame Blade Grhya, which skill is if your soul has a Child Dragon Aundra, when you would ride Unison Dragon Aundra from the right deck, you can ride without discarding a card. And the grade 2 card is Unison Dragon Aundra. If your soul has a Dragresonance of Flame Blade Grhya, when you would ride Drag Connector Grhyaundra from the right deck, you can ride without discarding a card from to ride up. And that is great because that is extra 2 cards you have in your hand without doing much. And that is also really good for in the future because this deck actually also doesn't exactly use a lot of card, but it does require a lot of key card into your hand or into the field. So you want to hold on to those. Good one. Of the right lines done, we can talk about the two main direct support that I feel like you should definitely run 4 of. One of them is Melt Knuckle Golem. When it's placed on rear guard, if you have a grade 3 or greater Vanguard with Grhya in its card name, Energy Blast 3 and draw a card. And auto on rear, when you have a unit with Grhya or Aundra in its card name attack, if your opponent's Vanguard is grade 3 or greater, this unit gets plus 5k until the end of the turn. And the second card is Artillery Bullets of Duststorm Saxis. Front row rear guard, at the beginning of your battle phase, counter blast 1, choose one of your unit with Grhya or Aundra in its card name and plus 5k until the end of the turn. If you choose a unit, draw a card. And those are very, very easy to achieve, so you don't have to worry about it. And then the second skill is rear guard when your unit with Grhya or Aundra in its card name attack. If your opponent's Vanguard is grade 3 or greater, this unit get plus 5k. And what we know so far is that you can have at least 2 Grhyaundra that can attack on the field. So these 2 units can easily get plus 10k. And also, finally, the great one unit that I don't really like, Rensuric Griffin. When this unit attack or boost, if your Vanguard with Aundra in its card name, this unit get plus 2k until the end of that battle. And counter blast 1. Choose one of your opponent's grade 1 or less back row, rear guard, and retire it. I don't think it's good just because it's very niche in the situation. It could be good in early games, but late game, it's not even that good of a booster due to the lack of space we have in the back row. What's good is that on your grade 2 turn or on your grade 3 first turn, it ain't restricted by grade 3, so you can have it plus 10k, become a 10k and attack the opponent grade 2. And finally, I believe the most important card in the whole game or whole deck for this deck is the normal order Dragresonance. Choose one of your Vanguard, it gets with this unit stand all of your front row plus 10k until the end of the turn. What this means is that when you put the soul of Grhyaundra back into Grhyaundra and stand, all your front row can easily plus 10k without any problem. If an order is important in the deck, I believe you should always run these two cards. Dancing Princess of Elegant Flame, Justina, and Stealth Fiend Shenri. Justina help you find the card of Dragon Resin from your deck and put it in the drop zone. So pretty much what it is when this unit plays on rear guard from hand, if you did not play in any order this turn, discard a card from hand, search your deck for one order card with a Regalia piece, discard it, and it gets this card can be played from drop, and when it would put in into drop after being played, put it at the bottom of the deck instead. It helps until the end of the turn, shuffle the deck. Pretty much what I mean is when you call it out, you discard card and you search a card that can that's the order of Dragresonance. It helps deck filtering, which higher chance of you finding a trigger in the long run, and you shouldn't have to worry about. And then Stealth Fiend Shenri. When this unit boosts, if your opponent has one or less rear guard, or you played an order this turn, this unit get plus 5k until the end of the battle, and at the end of that battle, put this unit into soul and draw a card. Draw a card is always good in DZ format. Every deck is hitting quite a lot of number and quite a lot of amount of attack. So you would actually benefit of having more cards in the hand, either for safekeeping or it will keep you safe even if you draw a trigger. And with that being said, with Shenri able to add into the Soul collection, you can also justify to play Lateefa. When this card is placed on rearguard, other than by a unit card's ability, aka from hand, you can play a normal order this turn. So blast 1, look at the top 5 card of your deck, choose one card with grade less than or equal to your Vanguard from amongst them and review it, call to the rear guard. If it's a unit, good. And put in the hand if it's a normal order, shuffle the deck. So even if you whiff unit, if you see Dragresonance, feel free to grab it. That's why we run more than one. When this unit attack a grade 3 or greater unit, this unit get plus 5k until the end of the turn. End of that battle for each of your opponent's open rearguard in the same column as this unit. This is why we play Griffin, just in case you want to open some front row and your opponent intercepts. Now you have an extra 5k. This is probably like just help your deck filtering. It's not exactly something that you want to focus on playing priority compared to the other two cards. But deck filtering is good because deck filtering is deck winning. Deck filtering, you get more triggers. And I will show you like a combo that I really, what I mean when swinging, when there's just not enough back row, I guess. So at the beginning, you want to rest the unit, call out the 2, rear guard, and this is just a setup of board. Afterward, since you need the normal order, you call Justina. Justina allows you to sack a rear guard, sack a card from your hand. Doesn't matter what card. But you will have to search for Dragresonance, and then you can play Dragresonance. Now, I would recommend overcalling Justina or Shenri, if you have a Shenri, just for the extra draw. With Justina going to drop, her job is done, so she can give it a rest and enjoy her old people years kind of deal. And because you play an order, Lateefa is also available. And in the future, if there's a Shenri that you can go into Soul, you can Soul Blast the Shenri, or you can just Soul Blast the Grhyaundra. And then you can probably search top 5 and maybe call another rear guard. Now you have full board of stuff. You can full on swinging with them for heavy amount of attack, and you wouldn't have to worry about calling too many cards, since you already called 3 already. But you also gain them back because of multiple draws on this deck. My deck list is this. It can be interchanged. What I think you could also done is you can play one less Dragon Resonance or one less Justina to play one more of the right line, grade 2 Aundra, or the grade 1 Grhya. Mostly I recommend is the grade 2 Aundra. Since having extra Andras on the field is not bad. You can benefit of benefit Sarsa and Golem as well, because they give 5k for every amount of Grhya or Aundra attack. So having 3 Aundra attack, they will get plus 15k. That's a whole trigger. One optional tech card that I really love, that I actually love to put in every Dragon Empire deck that I have, is Defensive Roar. What Defensive Roar is, when Blitz Order, you can pick a card that you play out and they get plus 10k, and then at the end bounce back to your hand. Oh, but it cannot be a perfect card. That's about it. So what I have done in the past without a Dragon Empire deck is I play the OT plus 10k, bounce it back. I have a second note. Now I can play OT akin to guard. They are 50k shields. Or even stuff like the front trigger, the crit triggers, and the heal triggers, which they're like 50k shield, make them 25k, or 30k shield, and they get bounced back and you can play them again. They're not small shield. And a lot of this can change based on the preference, but this is my way of looking at the deck right now, just because of how important a lot of cards are. The weakness of this is that the lack of back row. You only have one optional spots to play your great one. And also the second weakness is if the person is playing prisons, you better be watch out, because they can take your soul away. If they took out Aundra or Grhya, you are pretty much screwed. So what you do if you run into prison, Shenri, Aundra, Grayseal Aundra, keep them in soul. Do not play Lateefa, because at that point you those are your save keep of -2 soul. And what I believe the pro of this deck is that you get a lot of power really easily. Even without Persona Rai, having those plus 5k, plus 5k, plus 10k restand, plus 10k resonance, Dragon Resonance, which make rearguard just automatically taking 2 cards out of your opponent's hand. And one of my best thing I want to say is this: you, as much as you want to deal as much damage to the damage zone, minusing opponent's hand is just equally as important. Just because less resource they have in hand, the less rearguard they can play, or they have the option to play, and the less guard they can have to for easily achieve the 6 damage. And this is my way of talking about this deck. And I think this deck had a lot of potential. I want to see more cards in the future featuring the word Grhya Aundra, or like more rear guard that's really benefit of searching out Dragon Resonance and substitute for Lateefa or Shenri or Justina to justify playing that extra optional spot to help search, to help gaining energy, to help draw, to help with soul for protections, to help retiring rearguard and doing Dragon Empire stuff. And I feel like that should be it. If I will probably like change a lot of stuff in the future, I feel like, but for now this is my way, just how I see the deck work for a not so expensive deck. This deck is actually relatively cheap compared to all the other deck in the sets, except for the Roto. I think those are pretty insane too.